the right way. So, as many of y'all know, first of all, thank you so much for coming out, because, you know, I just think about, I was thinking about Henry V, St. Christmas Day speech, where he's like, you know, for those who led with us on this day is my brother, and I'm like, man, you walked through the fucking rain into this mud today, like, y'all are here for real, and I can't tell you enough how much it means to me that you guys are here to celebrate this day with me and with us, and to get this going. So the first, you know, to launch it all off, I've got my boy, Outspoken Bean. Of course, you know, we like to call ourselves Houston's most creative brewery. You know, my background's in spoken word, and Bean, for my money, is one of the best poets I've ever met my entire life, and he's just so inspiring. And so I was like, how are we going to kick off this land? And it's just a piece of land right now, and how are we gonna do this a Buffalo Bayou way? And so we commissioned a poem, and we asked Bean to share his art with us. So cold sage, warm call, warm it on up, Bean.
Please do not fall while you're bringing me up. I would be so upset. Hi y'all, how y'all doing? You good? Yeah. My name is Outspoken Bean. I'm really happy to be here, and let's give some love, right? Yeah. How about y'all act like you've never been to a groundbreaking before? I know you have. You have the most experience. All right. So I'm gonna do two poems. One that I wrote specifically for this opportunity, and another one is about, because, you know, most creative brewery, right? At Outspoken Bean is most creative brewery. So this poem is about a creative that I actually look up to quite often, and I want to share it with y'all. Is that good with y'all? Yeah. Here we go. It's called Drawing Conclusions. Mickey Mouse came to life in Walt Disney's drawing pad during his darkest and personal and most fiscal hour, so you should know. Not to draw your todays like your tomorrow has been erased. Not to draft your limits, nor pencil in doorless walls with a cemented roof installed with one steel beam to hang nooses for breathing ideas. We conveniently remember that excuses can be drawn from thin air, and the verbal shading is so detailed that they become reasons if you happen to notice your drawbridge not being let down for you. Well done, princess. Design your own. You blueprint of a human. Draw something before straight graph jaggers begin to confine your scribble in an attempt to withdraw the dance in your doodle. But there are times when a good shake is in order. When confronting what's been etched on you, it's the first time you realize you knew how to sketch. There is a world of blank pads and disappointments waiting on you to make your first mark. But nothing won't happen if you don't first draw something. Thank you. And this poem I wrote specifically for today. And I you know, cuss a lot, kids. So I try not to shit on any other, you know, breweries or anything like that.
Go for it.
All right? Yeah, I mean, I try not to. I'm trying to be a civil person. Some crowns are worn merely, but the best kinds you drink sincerely. Some have hooves dashing outward, hoping to stampede once the bottle is cracked open. Some creativity is touched, heard, and seen, but this creative tag team of smell and taste are the ones that you remember, the ones that are built on Texas innovative soil. Some beers are just that. Beer. But what's made from the bayous of buffaloes is hops oil. A different kind of Texas tea, the kind that breaks ground and plants roots, where you'll find longevity in the lifeline, recognizing that this craft will outlast the outlash of any outcast, and this is where the home of Houston has been waiting for at last. Thank y'all so much.
Oh my man, why did I set myself up to come behind him? That was stupid. Oh no, I threw away behind him. Sorry, buddy. All right. So next up, I wanted to introduce y'all to Abe. He's the founder of Next Seed, and I want to just tell you a little bit about Next Seed. You know, the thing about Next Seed is they are just completely breaking the mold in terms of financial opportunities, both for entrepreneurs, but also for individuals. And when I first met Abe Young, it was just so cool because you just immediately knew that we shared values, and that I really appreciate the way that they look at business and the businesses they were building. And we didn't have an opportunity to work together back then, but we were just like, man, we got to find a way to work together. And so, you know, when we got this project up, I mean, I did not expect it to be as successful as it was. We were just kind of doing it for fun reasons, really. And you know, I'm just so proud of the fact that for the first time in Houston's history, the fans of a brewery get to participate in the financial success of that brewery. And that's only because of Abe and Young Row and what they've built and this incredible creative thing that you guys have done. So, well, please welcome Abe. Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm super honored to be here. This is an incredible occasion. And then, you know, Rassul talks about, well, we met a few years ago, didn't have a chance to work together. The ongoing dialogue was more like, let's go grab some tacos and talk some more and figure out, you know, what are the things that are part of the vision. And I think when we offered up the vision of Buff Brew in this new incredible space that's coming up, it wasn't just that people were interested in the financial growth and the financial incentive to invest, really to be a part of something. And when we think about what Next Seed represents in the community, I mean, Buff Brew is an exemplary vision of that. They raised $1 million from 583 investors. And they didn't just do that and hit the max, they did it in 6 weeks, which is just phenomenal. It's really no other deal has, record breaking for sure. So we're excited about that, and frankly, if it weren't capped at $1 million, I'm confident that you guys would have gone much further, because you guys, from a community standpoint, represent the growth and possibility of Houston, and the possibility that people want to be a part of. So thanks for letting us be part of that journey, and I'm excited about what is happening here today and beyond. Thank you.
All right, next up is a man caught a little off guard because I forgot to tell him I was introducing him to speak. You ready? Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about, and Jackie, of course, and Charlotte's here as well. And I want to tell you a little bit about the creative challenge that we presented to Method, because, you know, we're going to hear from Steve next. And what Steve and John and the group here have done at Sawyer Yards is absolutely stunning and amazing. And we couldn't just put up an empty warehouse, you know, and it couldn't just be a cookie cutter warehouse, and it had to actually like blend in and show the rest of these surroundings. So the creative challenge that Method had to overcome, plus being a really difficult pain in the ass. I think it's the politest thing I can say in front of Sawyer, right? You know, I just can't thank y'all enough for the incredible design work you guys have done, and the project management all up until this point and beyond. So without further ado, here's Jake from Method.
Good to see everyone. So my relationship with Rassul started when they opened the first brewery over on Nolda Street, and we were a much smaller shop back then, and I was basically hungry for any projects we get our hands on, and a brewery was just like my dream project. And so I remember we were just, you know, if you've been to the Nolda Brewery, you know, it's a well-loved building, I'll put it that way. But I remember touring it, and you know, we talked about the price, the scope, everything we wanted to accomplish, and I remember him saying at the end, he was like, well, here's the thing, you know, so there's always the rub, you know, it's like, you know, we have very minimal operating cash right now, we're trying to launch operations, different things, and is there any way you would do this for a beer trade? And he's like, I promise, if I ever do a real brewery, you're the first, you know, first number I'm going to dial. And I'm like, yeah, right, Rassul. Can I pick up the beer now, or so, you know, go back later? Yeah. So we did it, and we've been drinking great Buffalo Bayou ever since. Here we are. No, but in all seriousness, you know, a project like this, it doesn't happen with, you know, I'm just up here doing the speech that I was just told about, but it's a whole team of people. So big thank you to Jackie and Charlotte at Method. The Pinnacle guys are here. Pete and his team have done a great job. H2B, DVO, a lot of engineers did a lot of, spent a lot of late nights keeping up with the drawings and really pushing the envelope on the design. And so that's the last thing I just wanted to say was that really a great project is not the product of an architect or a design team. It's really trying to make a client's ideas and their vision really come to life. And so our goal day one is always to try to get inside the client's mind. In this case, we didn't know what the hell we were getting into. Rassul's kind of crazy. If you know him very well, he's one of the most passionate people I've ever met. He's very passionate about his beer, so just imagine what he's like as a client. It was interesting, to say the least. Every time we present a design, he'd mark it up and say, no, I want you to tell me the story. I want the building to tell a story. And so like, it was really fun for us to really be pushed, you know, on our abilities and really challenged with creating this really unique vision for him. So I hope both Rassul, the Buffalo Bayou team, and all the people that come over the years and really enjoy the brewery. It's, you know, it's a really special project for us.
All right, now for the real stuff too. I've got Steve coming up next, and I just want to tell y'all what is going on here at Sawyer Yards is really special. I've had the pleasure of being in some long-term planning meetings with Steve and John, and this situation is super rare. I can't even explain to you, because when I first met with Steve, just in the first meeting, he looked at my business card and saw this is the most creative brewery. He's like, wow, that's so cool, you know? And you're like, okay, well, this is a guy who gets it. And then I got to see in the room the branding meeting that we were in, and all the ideas that they're bouncing around. And you know, they can do a lot of different things with this field, and it could be you know, another mid-rise, it could be another this, another that, but instead, you know, these guys are the patriarchs of this movement and creating this energy and choosing to tilt into that and really accelerate that. And you know, I just think about all the different complaints that people could make about our city or whatever have you, and you could say, well, I just wish there were more of an arts presence. And you know, Steve and John aren't wishing, they're putting their money where their mouth is, and they're working through and having patience with really obnoxious people like myself to make this area just unbelievable and second to nothing in Texas. So I just want to say thank you, and without further ado, I've tried making it blush. So.
Well, it doesn't take much to make me red. John, I gotta get John up here. I gotta partner up here. Come on. No, but this is a man. What an exciting day, and it's an exciting place. And on behalf of all of Sawyer Yards, I think, John, I would like to welcome Buffalo Bayou Brewery. It's going to be a special place. And it's hard to believe, just a few short years ago, this all got started primarily with the vision that John had, and now here we are in this great community of buildings, over 450 studios strong, and what I'd like to say is the largest artist and creative community in the country.
Yes.
We're very excited to be taking this next step in Sawyer Yards with Buffalo Bayou Brewing. It's the first ground-up structure that we'll have built, and we're excited. We're anxious. We're ready to get this project to the finish point, so we can sit up there and drink beer in the afternoon with Rassul.
Because I think, John, as we know that although artists and creative studios will always be the core of Sawyer Yards, artists do not live on creative studios alone. We need food. We need rock climbing. And on this first day after the Astros clinch, we definitely need more Crush City.
There we go. They sold it all. It's not my fault.
No, but I've always said, and I continue to believe that when you can put creative talent, and around here I think we do have some of the best creative talent, certainly in this city, and you combine that with the energy of really great entrepreneurial people like Rassul, there's just this synergy that happens, and it's almost explosive. It's this sort of magical energy that comes out of it all when you mix these things together. And so John and I are especially excited to welcome the energy of Buffalo Bayou to this place, this special place. All right. Maybe you need to come up and get your guy going. All right, what now?
All right. And here comes Alex. Okay, so here's the thing about Alex. I gotta tell y'all about Alex has the funniest interview question I've ever received in all of my years of interviewing people. I always like to ask people, because this is how you know what someone's made of. I like to ask them, okay, when shit hits the fan, like, give me a good story of the time when it really hit the fan, and how did you react, right? And so he's like, well, we're on a rig off coast in Namibia, and we got over, yeah, right? Who the hell, right? And we're overtaken by Somali pirates with machine guns. And I'm like, what the hell? What'd you do? And he's like, and very just bands. Doesn't get too big, doesn't get too small. And he's like, well, we had a plan. So we just followed the SOP. It was fine. What? Like, who prepares for Somali pirates and machine guns, right? Fortunately, the guy that is running this project for us. So that does not mean that I need anyone to call up any Somali pirates. But I would just say that if we are overtaken by pirates, Alex probably has a plan in place. And the thing about Alex is he's a real visionary, and I think a lot of people think I'm a micromanager, and that's probably borne out for a lot of good reasons. But very early on, I was just like asking him, hey, do you think this? Do you think this? Do you think this? And he's like, yeah. And I also thought about this, and this, and this, and you didn't ask me about this or this. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stop asking questions and we need to help. So his ability to just visualize and execute is unparalleled, and we would not be here doing this if it weren't for him. And what's also awesome is that with the end of this, actually really right now, because I don't have that many thank yous left, I'm pretty much done. So I don't know if y'all want to go anywhere, in October, but I'm going to take a vacation, and this poor sorry bastard has a shitload of work in front of him. And when you guys can ask me for updates or whatever, I'll be like, I don't know, check with Alex. So thank you. And with that, welcome to the kids.
Thank you, brother. I love it. That story keeps changing, by the way, every time I hear it. I've known Rassul now for a couple of years, and it's been a ride. So thanks for having me here, man. It's fun, and this is gonna be really exciting. Before I get started, though, if you've got a delicious brew in your hand, just raise it up for me. If you guys might not know this about our cans, but our marketing team has worked really hard on these, and the beautiful thing about them is they open from the side as well as the top. There'll be a full demonstration later at the brewery, but for now, thanks for being here. Cheers. So just a couple things I wanted to say. First of all, we're so excited to be here today, now, in this moment, with our feet wet, with it raining, on this ground, because this is the site of our new home, and it's the site of your new home too. And it's we would not celebrate this milestone in any other way. And I'd be remiss to not talk about all the hard work that took to get to this point. You know, those that have poured their blood, sweat, and tears into every drop of liquid and making sure that you guys are getting a fantastic product every single day. So if you are a member of the Buff Brew family production, sales, marketing, or administrative, or other undocumented team within the org chart, just raise your hand real quick. Raise your hand. Let's give these guys a round of applause, guys. And they're going to be the ones continuing to work after we get this built, and I'll be on vacation, and you can text them. So, you know, second of all, we're very honored. You know, we're honored to be building a second facility within Super Neighborhood Group 22, to be coming into this part of town, and you know, just being welcomed by folks that live and work in the area, to be popping down next to Sawyer Yards and all the amazing things that are going on there, just to be welcomed and held to that same level. So we are more than honored to be building and moving into this area. We're also humbled. Abe was up here talking about Next Seed. The amount of support we've had from our family, our friends, the city of Houston, you know, new investors that we brought on board that just bring a level of sophistication that just substantiates this whole undertaking is overwhelming. And it's very humbling for us. You know, I've only been a part of this for a couple of years, but for, you know, Ryan and Rassul, who's you know, put their lifeblood into this for you know, better part of a decade now, it's amazing. So thank you for that. You know, and finally, and I'll read this part so I don't get it wrong. We're ready. We are ready to give you more of the great product you all love, and provide an experience worthy of the brand and worthy of our closest friends. We're standing roughly in the brew house / lab area right now. Right above us is going to be a 200-seat tap room, and above that a 5,000 square foot patio overlooking that. You know, drinking a Crush City. So it's we are ready for that. If you guys haven't had a chance yet, Method brought a virtual reality tour of the building. I don't know what the medical recommendations are with vertigo and all that. You know, go ahead and give that a shot. It's awesome. And I don't know what they brought, but it's a small window into what the final product is that they put together. So, and we're ready to get this thing built and running. So, you know, there's a couple folks I just wanted to point out to real quick. Obviously, Steve and John being a partner and really more of a mentor for us young bloods over there at the brewery. Method Architecture, Pinnacle, DVO, H2B have done a fantastic job in working with us. And just to point on Jake's story, you know, we've been a year or so ago. We were in the heat of the design and going through changing things, and you know, I was having weekly meetings with them. And every once in a while, I'd walk in and I'd be like, "Hey, Rassul and I met yesterday," and they'd be like, "Oh shit." And I'd be like, "Yeah, so we were thinking about a 40-foot Buffalo, you know, fire breathing, you know, something that's in the budget, right? Like that'll be okay." Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll work on it. We'll get back to it. So it's been a lot of fun. You know, a couple other folks, Gin Design Group, we just brought on board recently, but they're doing the whole tap room build out. We're super excited about that. Next Seed, obviously, and DMAC Construction. We're about to turn the keys over to them, and they're going to knock this out of the park. But we are very excited to be partnered with them. So there's a lot coming up. Get ready, get excited, and if the great Samuel L. Jackson offers us any wisdom in a moment like this, hold on to your butts.
Okay, well, let me go to my second page of notes. Not too many. So, look, we've got such a huge team, and sometimes I feel like I don't necessarily let everyone see how big the team is that built this. So, if you'll bear with me, I've got a ton of thank yous, and I wanted to just publicly recognize everyone I could. And you know, Bean really set the tone when he said, you know, draw, and I hadn't heard that poem in I hadn't really thought about it, but I was already leading off with the idea that, back in 2010, like, y'all, this was a Word document, like an 86-page business plan, but it was a Word document, it was just an idea, and it's ridiculous. And just like a week ago, Guido and I were drinking, Guido, Andrew and I were drinking 1836 in Crush City at a Texans game, and I can't even explain to you how surreal that is, So just going way back to the OGs in 2010, of course, the number one thank you that I have to give out is to Ryan Robertson and his family. Take the compliments. This man is probably the humblest man I think I've ever met. He makes a beer that's amazing, and all the nerds are going, and he's just like, it's good. I'm happy. So he's one of the humblest men I've ever met, but his beer speaks for him, and he lets him do that. I was like, hey, I blocked out 45 minutes for you to talk. He was like, shut up. So he's very uncomfortable right now, and I'd like to keep him uncomfortable. But I'll tell you this much. It was like an 80-something page Word document, and he's just like, I don't know, man. And so he comes down. We're at the Starbucks. That's on Fountainview in Westheimer. That's when I first met Sarah, and I first met Trent too. And at that point, like, I'm asking a man to move from Dallas and stake a family and a livelihood, and he went with it, and I'm batshit crazy. We all know this, right? And like, we're asking in an interview, I was like, hey, we're gonna make a garlic and basil beer. Do you have any advice? And he didn't say that sounds stupid. And he said, well, I would do this with the garlic and this with the basil, and then this and this and this. And I was like, and he's like, wait, are you serious? I'm like, he didn't lead with that. That's good. So thank you so much for being with us. I mean, we would not have this company without you, my man. And thank you so much. We got a couple OGs in the room as well. Guido is Guido from the very get-go. Took that Word document, said, I believe in it, and he's been my number one guy and confidant and strategic brother in arms all along the way. Every time I go, wah, he's just like, hey, Guido, and he's like, come on, it's going to be okay. We got this and this and this. And he's such an incredible, insightful, strategic, confident and guide along the way. And I can't thank you enough, my man. I just can't thank you enough. So. Yeah, I had 9 months to prepare for this. You'd think it'd be written, but when I'm talking about my guys, I get a little speechless. Another OG, Greg Action Barrow. Where you at? So Greg's our real estate agent, found our first location, and got us this after years of searching for exactly the right spot. And the thing about Greg is he's a real estate agent because literally no one else answered the phone. We're just like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, we're going to build a brewery. And brewery's 3 syllables. And these fuckers hung up between the first and the second syllable. And I'm sitting with Greg, and he's like, okay, I'll take the meeting. I like this fun stuff. And I'm sitting with Greg, and his phone's blowing up. It turns out it was actually his birthday. So congratulations for your best birthday present ever. But I just wanted to say thank you. He took a flyer on us, and then Jake stole my stories. Jake, another OG. I met Todd, and he's like, "You got to meet this guy because I've got the perfect architect, and he's been wanting to do a brewery." And when I still remember sitting there on times, working through the drawings and the revisions and all that, and all the patience, and then coming back to the team after knowing what it was like to work with me the first time. Thank you. But I said it a little bit on the conversation about method and what Jackie and Charlotte and Jake and the whole team have done. This design challenge was just so hard, and just all the way back to the start. I like to brag about we were Jake's first brewery, and it's just so awesome to have you still on the team, my man. Thank you for taking the shot with us a long time ago. And then where's Tim, Culture Pilot? And yeah, I got a shout out. So it was a Word document. It was like a PowerPoint slide, a 2x2. I'm like, we want this, we want this, we want this, and the logo that we still have. You know, people redo their logos all the time. Tim took all these crazy, dumb ideas, and Kara as well, and the whole team, and they're just like, okay, and they put it all together and really created our identity. So much of who we are and what we are is through through the trumpet and through your skilled hands. So thank you for that, and all that on you. And I gotta call out Chris, the OG for Gingerbread Stout. And of course, Jerry O right next to him as well. But Chris is one of my best friends in the world, and has been right next to me this whole time when we were really in the toilet with that SBA or with that old loan that we had to get out of. Chris came in, cleaned up our books, got us the first $1 million SBA loan, and it was just unbelievable. And he's moved on to other pastures, but we wouldn't be here without you, brother. So. Thank you so much. That was just 2010. It was the Word document, and then the team grew. And I see Joey back there, and I saw Justin. Where's Justin Cody? Justin. Specs was the first guy that really picked us up. And you're shaking your head. Shut the hell up. Quit being so humble, man. The first guy to really take a chance with us. And I remember sitting there showing you our cans of Cowbell, and you're like, well, what do you think about a 9% double IPA and a tall boy? Will people be intimidated? And he ran with it, and it's supported us. And self-distribution is a tiring game, and we learned a lot. And it was with y'all's patience and helping us grow and everything. And then right on after that, I wanted to also thank our customers, HCC and Faust, and Bo and Tyson right over here. Bo's another one of the most of you guys, and he said, no, don't say anything about me, whatever, so I'm just going to ignore that and try and hopefully make him blush a little bit. But we were talking about, giving up the self-distribution and finally becoming a real company in Big Boys. And I was telling him about how I had my eye on this piece of land, but we were kind of losing a little bidding battle. And Bo's like, well, I've got a friend. Let me put y'all in touch. And so, and I also just wanted to say on a personal level, when Hurricane Harvey hit, that Friday after Hurricane Harvey was a payroll day. It was the first of the month, so it was rent for all my employees. It was the hardest payroll we've ever hit in our company, and it was hard. I was back on the truck delivering personally because the whole drive team was scattered across the country. And Bo called me at 6 o'clock that Friday, and I think that there are a lot of relationships in business that are very great relationships, but what's been amazing is the mentorship and the personal advice that you've given me along these just in the short time that we've gotten to know each other, and y'all and the two of y'all just keep selling that Crush City too. God damn it! It is Bo and Tyson's fault that we don't have Crush City behind the bar right now because they keep selling it all. So thank you so much for that. And then my boy Tristan and Tanya coming all the way out from San Antonio and taking a flyer on that. Tristan, my silverback gorilla, just getting after it in the San Antonio market, kicking down them doors over at H-E-B. Thank you. And I also wanted to thank Jen for being here. Y'all haven't seen her work yet. You've seen the renderings on the outside, but when you see what they're bringing to the table on the inside, it's just really going to up the game. You guys are going to be real excited. So. And then another thank you I wanted to give and a shout out is one of my dearest friends, Dowd, who has just, well, come on, man, you can admit you're a friend in public. And I just want to let you know that he's joined us as our Director of Hospitality. He's opened up. back to sorry fuckers who have to do all the work while I sit around and drink with you guys and answer your thousands of text messages. He's going to be the one who actually has to get the tap room open. It's the thing that I'm least skilled at and most nervous about. So it's so awesome to have you on my flank, brothers in arms attacking the world. So, and I also want to talk about this. Some people who made today possible with the latest round of capital. And Pablo, thank you so much for all your hard work along the way and the incredible energy that you bring to the table. And where's Leela? Where's Leela? Another one? Where's Leela? Oh, and Leela. So I met Leela, and she had so many questions, and she's like, what's the minimum investment? It's like $7,000. Okay, great. And all these ridiculously hard questions. And then she comes back the next week. She's like, okay, I've got more questions, and then also you got to meet my friend Matt. And then Matt had a lot of questions, and they were increasingly harder questions. And then Leela and Matt are like, okay, you got to meet my boy Ken, right? And then Ken Berg Jr. comes, and Ken, is ridiculously brilliant and asking more ridiculously hard questions. And then Ken's like, I got some other people who you should meet as well. And this was all just happening so quickly out of nowhere after we were, kind of losing a little bit of momentum. And then Ken brought his dad, Ken Berg Jr., Ken Berg Sr. over, and we were all talking more questions. And then suddenly the questions started, getting a little easier, and then they stopped a little bit. And now you're all on the team, and as new board members, the three of y'all. And so I can't explain to you how grateful I am, not just for the work in getting the round closed, but also more importantly the insight and the camaraderie and the mentorship that we're going to have along the years. I've always said that our competitive advantage is a team that we've assembled, and as I'm looking at the people here, I can't tell you how honored I am for that. So, and just a couple more thank yous, I promise. Only 20 or 30 more minutes. I had 9 months to prepare for this, okay? So I got a lot of thank yous. But, so the brew team is here, and I don't know if you guys can tell, but we're making the best liquid we've ever made, and these guys are still beating themselves up over these technical imperfections that are not even really that big of a deal. I'm like, guys, it's okay to rest on your laurels and feel good about yourself once or twice. But I just want to call out Dustin, Kano, PJ, Brian, Sean, Roy, James, and Arthur. Will y'all get your hands up? We're taking more than 1,000 data points per batch now. It's ridiculous, the lab that Dustin's built. Kano's running that machine more efficiently than we've ever done. Kwong is just killing it on the brew side. I just can't tell you guys enough how amazing the brew team is right now, and how y'all are killing it. So, and then with the worthless degenerates on my sales team, please. Yep, there's Jax. Jax, my oldest sales friend, is now. Mark, our most tenured employee. Nick, who fought against the rain to come back coming back during Hurricane Harvey, and then here's China right here, keeping it chill on the west side. So I just thank you all so much. You guys are just doing such a great job, and it's just a pleasure. So, and then of course Brittany, Alexa, and Thomas. Brittany's behind the bar, and Alexa's behind the bar, working quietly and hardworking as well. Thomas, the man behind all the design and all the pictures and everything. They've been doing such a great job. But the number one thank you for today's event goes to the sweaty mess. There he is! The animal himself. Y'all, I literally did nothing except for yell at Taylor at intermittent periods. I didn't help with the chairs, I didn't help with this. I was like, well, it's got to be a sage because I'm short. I think that's the only insight I gave. So, thank you, Taylor, for working everything and I saved my 2 last thank yous to some very important people in my life personally. Not everyone gets to say that they work with their best friends every day. And I don't know what you guys think is like working with your best friends, but they may have signed up thinking it'd be fun. Turns out, though, if I'm your best friend, and actually it's it's kind of like waterboarding your ego every other minute. But you know, and when you think about an organization and you think about middle managers in an org chart, they really get the bum deal, you know, because we talk a lot about accountability, and we talk a lot about directly responsible individuals. We use the phrase "one throat to choke." Well, on the brew side, that throat is always Trey's, and on the sales side, that throat is always Troy's. And you wouldn't know in the middle of the workday that they're my best friends in the world, but and you know, but it's just been amazing, and I can't. Where's Trey? Where's Trey?
Where'd he go?
Is he working? Oh, he's all the way back there.
Looking for him.
You know,
Is he back?
I can't tell you guys enough. Thank you so much for the hard work and the patience working with me. I know it's been a hard ride, and I've tested your patience every minute I can. But just very selfishly, every Friday morning, I get to wake up and have breakfast with Troy. And I don't know if you guys are into drugs or anything, but you don't need them if you're starting your day with breakfast with Troy at Snooze in the Heights. I'm telling you, man, it's just like, woo, I'm ready to go. So, thank you all so much. And with that, my final thank yous. Thank you. So now for my actual speech. No, just kidding. No, just kidding. We're gonna skip through that. But I just wanted to let you all know that it's been a lot of hard work and patience for everyone here to get to this point. You know, today was a kind of a funny metaphor for this project, right? Started out overcast, gloomy, lots of rain, feeling like, okay, was this gonna happen? I had a lot of people texting me, hey, is this gonna happen? Is this gonna happen? But yes, it's fucking happening. I'm gonna push this fucking elephant across the finish line if we have to. I don't care, drag it through the mud, we're gonna make this happen. And you know what we did? We told the rain, get off my fucking lawn. We're throwing a party today, and that's what we're gonna do. So we will be slabs apart. We got a lot of cold beer. After this, we're gonna take some pictures. I've got them aggressively scripted. We all know this. We're gonna take the pictures, and then we can all go back to the brewery where we can stand up and get drunk properly. So thank you all so very much.